Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another 52-week movie challenge. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got an awesome show for you guys. So to kick off the show, I decided to do a little. To kick off the show with challenge number 19. So week number 19, it is rich versus poor, and I couldn't really figure out what to do necessarily for that. So, as I said in the last video, I decided to do Trading Places, which I wasn't sure. There's another movie called Brewster's Million, and I wasn't sure if I should do that one or not. But I chose this one. I'm very glad I did. So, first off, year released was 1983. The aspect ratio is a 1.851. Running time was an hour and 56 minutes, which was a lot longer than I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be like an hour and a half. Nope. The date challenge completed was 5/9/22. My rating was 4 stars. Genre was comedy. It was rated R. Starring Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Lee Curtis, Denholm Elliott, Ralph Bellamy, and Don Amici, among many others, including like Jim Belushi and a few other people. Directed by John Landis, produced by George Folsey Jr., written by Timothy Harris and Herschel Wingrad, something like that. Music by Elmar Bernstein. Awards received was Bafta Film Award winner for both Denholm Elliott and Jamie Lee Curtis. Why did I choose this particular film? Because this is one of the only ones I could really think of. Have I seen this movie before? Years ago. Would I recommend this film? Why or why not? Yes, absolutely, is a lot of fun. Seems I say that a lot for a lot of these movies. I choose a lot of movies that I've already planned that will probably be a lot more fun. As you see, these two guys I'm going to talk a lot about in a little bit. Which character were you most able to identify with or connect with in what way? No one. Best line or memorable quote was just be yourself, sir. No matter what happens, they can't take that away from you, which Coleman said, which is Denholm Elliott's character, Coleman. We'll get into him in a little bit. Were you surprised by the ending, and what would you have done differently? No, I figured they would win at the end. How do you feel the class or income disparity contributes to the conflict of the story? I mean, I think without both classes and incomes, this story wouldn't exist. It's about a scientific experiment gone wrong, including involving the classes. Anything else you'd like to add? Nope. Go watch it on Stars. You could also buy it on Amazon. For all those physical media guys like myself, I own it somewhere and I couldn't find it, so I'm kind of bummed. It's in my Blu-ray section somewhere. So this is a movie that I was very excited to rewatch, and I will tell you why. And it's a movie I hadn't seen since I was young, and I'm very glad I did, because there was a lot of stuff in it that couldn't be done today, that I feel was really a good touch, for us to watch and to see that back then it wasn't allowed. I thought about it, like I watched this movie and I really enjoyed it. But I thought of it and I was wondering if I was like the only one who thought this, and then I realized no, nobody has 100% original thought. Somebody else has already come up with it, probably way before you did. And that was the case in this one. A person on IMDb said the exact same thing I thought, which was when I was watching it, I go, wait, this is like a retelling of the Book of Job. So if you don't know anything about Trading Places, and I would beg you to go watch it before you hear this review. So if you don't know anything about Trading Places, yeah, understand it's about a so basically there's a really rich, sort of rich guy. He works at this firm. He's making lots of money for them. He's really helping them out, played by Dan Aykroyd. He's got everything going for him. He's got this amazing fiance that loves him. But she really doesn't, and you find out later, she really doesn't love him for anything more than his social status and stuff like that. Like if she truly loved him, she would stick around, but I'll get into that in a bit. So then you meet Eddie Murphy's character, who is a homeless guy. He's from, I guess, they say ghetto, but you never really see the ghetto. You just see him as this homeless guy who happens to be panhandling in front of the rich place. He knows like these people are rich, so he pretends to be a disabled veteran from with no legs and blind apparently, and he's trying to panhandle. Nobody's giving him money, and when the cops get called on him and they find out, they know he's lying, and he ends up bumping into Dan Aykroyd's character, and Dan Aykroyd and him, get into like a little thing and a little tiff, and then Eddie Murphy gets sent to jail. In jail, he tells them that he's like this big pimp, and he's, they're all lucky, he wasn't able to find his phone, whatever, all this crap. He knew karate, all these crazy things. So while he's in jail, the two guys who own the company are played by Ralph Bellamy and Don Amici, and they are brothers, the Duke brothers. And the Duke brothers are doing whatever they, are like, both have different feelings on status and money and stuff. One thinks that, like, if you're from a certain background, you're going to stay that way, and that's the way you're going to be. You can't ever move up, and the other one thinks that if given the right circumstances, one could move up there. So basically they trade places, which is an interesting title because Trading Places is sort of what it is in a way with their company. Their company is a stock company. So, they trade all the time. And so they're sort of treating these two guys as stock, and so it's a little deeper with the title than I even never imagined until I started like thinking about it. So in this movie, the two Duke brothers sort of start, I don't know, kind of screwing up Dan Aykroyd's life. They make him completely like bare, he loses everything that he had. Credit cards are all gone. People think he's selling drugs. They make it look like he stole 50, I forget how much it was. It was a lot of money. Trying to steal from the company. They did a lot of things to this poor guy, and that's what made me think of Book of Job, because like it was them two making a wager for $1, by the way, $1 wager to see if they could basically, scientifically have this happen. And the idea was that after the experiment was done, Dan Aykroyd was supposed to come back to the company, and Eddie Murphy was going to be sent to back to the ghetto. Well, so before Eddie Murphy finds out all this stuff, he's treated like royalty and everything, and he's not. One of the funniest scenes is like he doesn't understand. He thinks this is a trick, and I honestly would think that too. Like I would think like, oh my God, what are these guys doing? This scene right here was hilarious, but the scene right after the scene where he's at his new place and they're like, this is your new place. It's like, this is so you're saying this is my TV? And he's like, yeah, it's your TV. And it's like, my stereo. Yeah, your stereo. It's like, this is my vase and I can do whatever I want. I can play, around with this. And he breaks the vase and they say, oh, the insurance on that was $50,000 and only cost us $35,000. You just made us a $15,000 profit. And he was like, oh, do you want me to break anything else? And they're like, no. So it's sort of funny. I thought that was cute. So Dan Aykroyd is, down on his luck, and he meets Ophelia, who is a prostitute who is paid to like ruin his life for a second, but she doesn't know that's what she's doing. She's only told she's there to help the guy, help him out and make him laugh or something. So, Dan Aykroyd starts losing everything, and he's sort of going crazy. He starts acting like a poor guy because of his situation he's in. He starts drinking a lot. He's trying so hard to get back into his company, but they're just, obviously they're not letting him. He disguises himself as a Santa Claus and destroys some stuff and tries to frame the guy because he thought he was framed. Go figure by that guy, by Eddie Murphy's character. There's a lot more to it. I don't want to go into the whole thing, obviously. If you watch it, you'll see, there's more stuff with like Eddie Murphy starts kind of proving that that just because of who you are as a your situation in life, you can actually help and be a benefit to those, if you were put in a situation where you could. And by using like more street smarts than whatever, he starts talking about, you can't be buying pork bellies because nobody's going to want to buy pork bellies right now. They're going to want to wait until it gets down, then they're going to start buying and stuff like that. And like, he's got all this street smart because he knows people. These guys just know money. And so they kind of use him for that. And they realize this guy's, good at that, but, they're still planning. They don't want him to run the company. And a lot of it's about race. They don't want him to run the company because he's black. And there's a lot of words and stuff that I really find to be upsetting. There's a lot of N words being thrown around that I wasn't a fan of myself. And that's probably why I gave it 4 stars and stuff. I would have given this a 5-star movie, but there's a few scenes that really kind of turned me off and made me feel uncomfortable. Another scene is they're basically going, they found out that what what those guys have done, so they do this plan to get rid of to basically switch the briefcases of this guy on a train, and they do it. And one of the guys, Dan Aykroyd, dresses in blackface to do it, and he gets caught and everything. But I was just like thinking, wow. It was rough. I was like, this kind of stuff is not appropriate now at all, and I can sort of see why. Kind of like just looking at it made me cringe. Now, some people older or whatnot that are kind of used to seeing that kind of stuff back from the 70s, 80s, even earlier times, it's, it is what it is. I remember what is his name, Robert Downey Jr. did blackface for was it if I'm correct, Tropic Thunder and stuff, and people don't seem to never really said anything about that much, because it was funny. And that was the thing. This wasn't funny. That was the problem. This was very cringy. Eddie Murphy plays a character who is was it later he has to dress up, and he plays kind of like a prince of a country or something. Like, he has these things. I don't know if he was a prince or not, but it later on, I feel like that was sort of the beginning of Coming to America, which later John Landis directed, and also starred the two guys, the two brothers, the Duke brothers, who are now poor, and apparently they are going and panhandling, and the prince feels bad and gives him some money. I think it's really funny, and that it's funny that it's him, because in another universe, in another like movie or whatever, it was Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd who both ruined them and made them both go poor. Completely destroyed their company. Just the way that they were destroying them sort of seems even like, they were like, what have I done for you? Like, think of all the stuff we've done. Not knowing that he had overheard them say that they had done this for $1 and that this was just a bet, and they ruined their lives for a bet. And I think the biggest thing that I got from this movie is how much we don't really think about other people and playing with other people's lives, and how sometimes we have to do that. Like, sometimes we are sort of kind of playing with other, like, we might be fucking up somebody else's life, and we don't really think about that. When you fire somebody, period, you're taking their money away. So it better be a damn good reason. It better not be a bet that you're ruining their lives for, that kind of thing. So when they completely destroy this person's life, they just don't care. They're doing it just to see which one was right. And that was one of the most messed up stuff that, comes from this movie. All in all, though, I had a fun time. I think there was a gorilla scene that was hilarious. There was a lot of cool, like, little nods to things. If you know John Landis, he did a movie called Schlot, which was about a gorilla. So it was really cool to see that. It was just a really down-to-earth, sweet movie, and I really enjoyed it. I know John Landis has worked with Eddie Murphy on not just this, but they did Coming to America and Beverly Hills Cop 3, which, is amazing that he was able to they will continue to work together. Dan Aykroyd went on to do some great stuff. Obviously, Ghostbusters came out like a year after this, and that, like, set his career into motion and gave him a bigger career than ever before. But this movie was the beginning of a lot of stuff. So anyway, that's it. That was Trading Places. Once again, very, very cool title. I really enjoyed it. So I really recommend watching that movie if you haven't seen it. It's sort of a classic. A lot of people have seen it. So challenge. So week 20 is set during your favorite time period. So you'll find out what my favorite time period is. I'm guessing it's set during there, so it's not filmed during it. So meaning I have to find a movie that was made in that time period. I have two favorite time periods, and so we will see which one I choose. But aside from that, thank you guys for checking this out. Join us next week for that one, and I'll be back. All right, bye.